Hi, I am Samantha Hartwig, and I'm currently a trustee with the National Association of Letter Carriers Branch 9 in Minneapolis. And I am taking time today to interview several diverse carriers that we have working or who have retired from the union in Minneapolis. And this is my Leadership Academy project for the National Association of Letter Carriers out in Washington, D.C. The goal of my project is try to identify barriers that have existed in the past or that may still exist today that may prevent more diverse letter carriers from joining the union or being active in the union, either through going to union meetings or several activities. And today I have Cheryl Stately with me. She's the Director of Retirees in Minneapolis Branch 9. Hi, Cheryl.
Hi, Sam.
Thanks for coming.
You're welcome.
Thanks. When did you start as a letter carrier in Minneapolis?
In November 1968.
And when you started in 1968, were there a lot of women letter carriers back then?
No. Women were just coming in at that time.
And what was it like working, being one of the few women letter carriers around? What was it like working with mostly a male-dominated workforce?
Well, I never had a problem because I felt that it was a man's job and I had to do as well as they did in order to keep the job.
Back then, did you experience anything back then that women today do not have to deal with?
Yeah, in 1969 I was pregnant with my youngest child and they didn't know what to do with me as a carrier, so they sent me to clerking. I had to switch crafts. And the only way I got back into carrying was when I came back after my maternity leave, there was a carrier who wanted to make a mutual to clerking. And that's how I got back as a carrier.
Mm-hmm. And back then, did the union do anything to help you with that situation when you got transferred out, or was that just kind of how it was back then?
No, they didn't do anything for me, but then in their defense, I didn't go to them either. I was brand new. Didn't think there was an alternative, you know.
Yeah. Now today, do women have to deal with that? Do they get sent to another craft when they're pregnant today?
No, they can carry up until the day they deliver if they want.
Okay. And when did you start getting more actively involved in the union and why?
I actually got more involved in '87. And the reason I didn't earlier is because I had 4 kids. I was a single parent and I felt I should be home with them. But I got active in '87, and we had a bowling league at the time, and that's how I first got active. And then in 1990, I won an interim election as a trustee, and I was trustee for up until I retired.
Okay. Now, do you believe today there are any barriers preventing women from being active in the union, or do you feel that we've overcome a lot of those gender barriers that were around when you started?
Yeah, I don't think there seems to be any barriers, but in our own branch is all I know.
Mm-hmm.
We have several active women in our branch. So.
Okay. Well, thank you, Cheryl.
You're welcome.